Elephant Man Podcast Network, grown man conversations dealing with elephants in the room. What's going on? It's your man DB. Like, subscribe, share. Oh, somebody's trying. We got a little playback going on right there. Like, subscribe, share. Hit the notification bell so you can know when new guests, new content is coming out. Today, I'm so excited. I've been excited all day. We got our same panel back, and it's just amazing. I'm so glad. From the show Mothers Unfiltered, we got Sister Kia Valentine Kia. I'm going to say Kia Valentine. Valentine Kia.
It's Kia.
All right. And then from the Tubman Survival Academy, they had a show yesterday. Miss Q Wiggins.
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing all right. I'm going to have to try. You know what? I think because I'll get to that later. And then my brother, he said he's been prepping for over 4 years. Orlando Fraley. What's going on, brother?
What's up, people? How y'all doing?
Yes. I'm so glad.
How y'all doing tonight?
I'm so glad to have y'all back in the building. It's crazy. So listen, we'll jump right into it. Now, we had the show. Believe it or not, it was one of the highest rated shows. People was like, good information, great information. They really enjoyed y'all. But you know what? Sometimes they look at preppers and say, okay, I don't know. You know, if the crap hit the fan, we'll just come find you and help you partake in your goods. But something happened. She's shaking her head now. Something happened last week that was like we couldn't do nothing about. 14 million without power in the South. In Texas, 14 million without power. So sometimes we think about prepping for when the crap hit the fan, but we never think about a natural disaster. You know what I'm saying? Floods or whatever. And one thing I didn't understand at first, I was like, well, man, why are they roof caving in and why are they pipes busting? But I was like, okay, it's built different down there. You know what I'm saying? They don't need as much roof panels and shingles and installation. You know what I mean? They're trying to keep it cooler. They're trying to keep the house cooler. So when they build them houses down there in the South, they can't have all this extra padding and stuff and reinforcement. So when that snow hit, which is not made for, the whole roof come in. So I just think, I'm praying out to them, and it's just amazing. I know a few people down there. They had water on, then the water was off, and it's just a mess. Really, really a mess. So prepping for a natural disaster. More people are interested in prepping now because of what happened. And then shout out to you, Kia, as well. That was a great show yesterday. Great show. Very informative. It's real good. I'm gonna put that link in the comments so they can be able to get to that show.
Thank you.
But my question is, I was sharing with you earlier, Orlando. You was like, a lot of people don't know what to do. So, Orlando, what would you say would be the first thing that people should do? What would you say?
The first thing I think they should do is the fundamentals of starting. Can you hear me?
No, you froze. I was like, oh no.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you and see you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yes. When I first started our family, basically, we started out with the fundamentals of learning how to my first 5 elements of surviving. We basically learned how to start a fire. Because that's one of the most essential things into survival is starting a fire and learning how to start a fire, and with certain aspects of how you learn what you start a fire with. And then we started to learn how to put up a tent. Some people are so intimidated by just putting up a tent. And it's very simple and easy to look at it as it's a huge obstacle, and it really is not. That's considered to be shelter. And then we look at water purification. Those things are very essential to me in the base of how you could survive in any environment, along with shelter and your firearms. But I need to start out with the fundamentals of how you survive in any kind of elements. And I think if you have the basic principles or the fundamentals, you survive in almost any element.
Wow. Okay. Okay, I get that. One of my friends, shout out to Sister Tosh, she was actually down in there. She said you must have a generator. So like you say, hindsight is 2020. We can always plan afterwards, but she said you must have a generator. And Sister Kia, you was talking about how a generator can be loud. So when people are desperate and they are in need and they lacking and they hear a generator going, you're bringing a lot of attention to yourself. But you also talked about solar panel and stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking, and of course now we're in the times, because of course when we were talking about the whole preparation on the last time we had a conversation, it was more civil unrest, but now it's natural catastrophes and weather. But when we're talking about generators, you want to start investing in the different ones that fit good with your house. Of course, if we all had the money and things are where they need to be financially, and you live in a house, the best thing would be one of those 5,000, 6,000 solar panel generators that you could implement on the actual house itself. And you may see some places like that, but of course that's all about a person who has the finances. But if you don't, there are things that we can actually afford. This is the perfect time now because we are in tax season. A lot of times we're like, hey, I'm planning this trip or I'm doing this. You're able to invest with a couple of $100, a real decent generator. My personal generator that I have, it goes off of gas. But of course, you think about, well, there could be a gas shortage. Well, it's also propane as well, instead of going to the regular pumps. But then they have the solar generators. I actually have a small one that's a solar generator, so that for all the little things that it can charge. So I have a couple of ones based upon what you're needing. But you have to be able to do what's best for you in your situation. A lot of people were affected in the apartment buildings, which is a little bit different than, your regular house, because your house, you may have a little bit more fluctuation. But in your apartments, you have to be able to see the solar generators, of course, with the sun and everything, that are able to assist you. You don't want to ever put a generator inside your home, especially if you're running off of gas, because those fumes will kill you. Like we stated yesterday on my show, it may kill you, or maybe it will. So you definitely don't want to bring those toxic fumes into your home, but you have to kind of assess what your needs are and then go from there. But there's so many you can choose from.
Yeah. I was thinking about, even when you were saying solar power, even if you got the solar power that's big enough to go on your house, I think it'll bring attraction, because the whole block is dark and y'all playing music with the lights on. that could attract some people as well. I would think so. But so Sister Q Wiggins. What was one of the two things that you talked about on your show yesterday? I tried to really get in there, but they say wait for the host, and then maybe I was too late, man. I was like,
no, you wasn't. I've heard a few people say that, but I paid for like over 100 people to be in there. It was like 40. So I don't know what was going on with Zoom, but I've heard a few people say that. But no, one of the things I was trying to teach people about was how to stay warm, right? Because electricity, you gotta stay quiet, and you don't want to cut on lights. I tell people, cut on electricity or use electricity when it's absolutely necessary. You do not want to call attention to your house for any reason. But I talk to people about how to stay warm. I have a little water bottle I could roll up, but it can take temperatures up to 140 degrees. You put some hot water in that thing, fill it up. It's about yay big. You fill that hot water bottle up, wrap it in a towel. It'll stay warm for 8 hours. Then you take that same water and you put it in the water packs that you can kind of sip out of, when you're exercising. You can take that in the morning and then have a shower with like lukewarm water. So now you got your heat pack at night, and then you got your shower in the morning. So that's a good trick, because you want to get into bed sometimes, and maybe the teapot, the tea light, and the teapot and the tea light and clay pot heater is in another room. So you don't have heat in there, so you want to heat your bed up. So you got the hot water bottle, and you can get some, heat up some bricks in a fire or something, and wrap some towels around those bricks. Put them in the bed with you. Bricks really hold a lot of heat because they made out of clay, and so now you got a warm bed and hot water in the morning for your shower. So that's one of the things that I talked about, is just being able to stay warm, because that's all shelter. Clothes and sheets, that's all part of shelter. Sometimes people think of shelter is only the building, but shelter is everything you do to stay warm from the elements. It can even be pine needles, all kinds of stuff, whatever it is to keep you warm. Now I wouldn't call bricks and hot water shelter, but you get the picture.
Yeah. So the show that you did yesterday, is this recorded?
But I do group meetings so people can ask questions. I found that it's a lot of emotional stuff that comes up too from people dealing with situations. So sometimes it's a talk space for people to talk, because we still not in the clear. I still don't know what was going on in Texas. So people want to talk through that a lot of times with other human beings that they can connect to, who can, because it's hard to talk to people who don't believe something is wrong. So people want to be in spaces with like-minded folks who understand, hey, I'm struggling down here. I had to tell my aunt no to any water because I didn't have any except for me and my kids. That's emotionally painful. So, so we try to provide a space for people to be more in, like a community, but every week I present a topic.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to segue into. I have written community down here right on my paper. I think that we could do more together, because I know we was talking about, I listened to Kia's show last night. We were talking about some people might not can't afford this or afford that. But if you put your resources together and you got the same mindset and be proactive, which is prepping instead of reactive, you could be more prepared, if you prepare with a group, a community.
Bartering. There was one women's group in Texas that did a bartering thing. So they were able to get water to women who weren't able to, who didn't have water. So that's another thing that's very important to prepping, is understanding the value of bartering. Like, I can't grow shit, but I got some bullets for you, maybe. How many bullets can get me, a pack of tomatoes, because I can't grow shit. No, nothing grow for me. I may get a couple pieces of spinach, that's it. But, I got something else that can help. So bartering is important. And we need to, start to help each other in that way.
Yeah, that's amazing when you talk about the community part, because like you said, a lot of people can do different things. Like that. Now, I'm not a green thumb, but I can grow a few things to keep us alive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I had the area, you know what I mean? You got, then if it's a warmer climate all year round, we can grow more things. So I'm going to class right now so I can learn how to grow specific potatoes and beans.
Yes,
and peas
that's awesome.
And different things
that's a high calorie garden.
Yeah. So, and then I said, okay, guys, you guys eat. My sons used to eat in a certain way. I'm like, okay, y'all might have to eat beans. So one day a week, let's just go, no meat, and let's just go beans and cornbread, or beans and potatoes or something. So I want them to get used to it, so it won't be a shock. You know what I mean? Like Kia was talking about her show last night. Also, you was talking about, Kia, about getting coats to a couple of sizes up. Why would you say get some coats a couple of sizes up?
Well, that was mentioned on the show because at the end of the day, let's just say right now, we're going into spring season. So, everything clears out for Texas. Everything is good in Florida, and your size, I don't know, you're a medium. And then all of a sudden, when that winter season kicks back in, you done gain some pounds or whatever. Well, you definitely want to make sure that you're able to fit those coats as well. Plus, you could also add more insulation in it. Plus, if you're trying to get the coats for your kids, right now, I do have a toddler, so she's constantly growing. As soon as you buy something, the next minute, she's going to be a next size. So if you're buying 4T right now, prepping for that winter season, well, guess what? She's not going to be able to fit that appropriately. So there's many ways. I mean, and like I said, these things are very, very cost efficient. If you're trying to go to like your Goodwill, your Salvation Armies, just to get coats and layers. And then also we were talking about something as simple as socks. I'm here in Florida, And the average person normally just puts their flip-flops on and calls it a day, especially because majority of times it's nice weather. But at the end of the day, you do need to have those things just in case. And one thing I just have to put out there, there's always something positive that comes out of something negative. And what the positive is, I really, really hope and pray that our people have a wake-up call during this actual event, the events that's been going on. So it changes their mindset to say, hey, this is going to be our new norm. Stop thinking that, oh yeah, we're going to go back to everything is normal and we're just going to go back our lives. No, always have these things available so that if you're living in that mindset that anything is possible, then you don't have to worry about, oh my God, I don't have any water. I have to turn my auntie away.
Oh man, that I was
sometimes you gotta
this.
turn away auntie though. I mean, it's a few folks that you may.
I mean, maybe auntie cutting up, so you might have to. You get what I'm saying?
It just sounds so crazy, but I mean,
it's real though. It's real. You have to consider who you gonna feed and who you're not, because you got neighbors. It's a whole group of people that you love. It's gonna be somebody that you have to say no to that you love.
Oh man,
but we can teach them now.
That's why we need community. We need to get people bought in and on board, as many people as possible, like you said. So the barter, everybody got different things. We got people that have medical background, military background. They understand the woods. Don't eat that berry; it's poisonous. We need all of them people to come together. You know what I'm saying? Hunt, and the young boys need to get started hunting right now. But Orlando, I want to talk to you about this one thing. You talked to me about. You said you actually went out and you just went out in the sticks. You just went out in the woods and you actually practiced. Like, did you tell me that? Remember you was telling me about that?
Well, I do it. Well, yeah, I do that often. Just to kind of try to master my basic trainings that I'm trying to do. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
But the video is delaying a little bit.
Okay, yes, I do. I do quite often.
I can hear you. Say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. I go out in the woods and I try to simplify it, and I try to do it for myself and myself only when I'm out here in the woods by myself, so that I can try to make sure that I can handle the things that I can carry in my bug out bag, or what I used to call a rucksack. And I try to set up a area, sleeping person sleeping area. I can use a tarp, a couple of ropes, and some tent pegs, a little sleeping area just with that tarp and that the rope and the tent, and I can utilize the ground with a blanket. But I also can create a fire to be able to stay warm within that element. So it's so many things that we could practice on doing. What I do, basically, just to simplify my life. I don't want to oversimplify. I don't want to overdo things. I try to make it as simple as possible, so that I be successful in it. Because the more you add things to it, the more it get complicated. So when I'm out in the woods, I simplify things as much as I can. I just try to use the element as much as I can, the trees, the grass, the environment to help me out a whole lot.
Okay. But I think too, also, the more people that you can say what? The more people that you carry along, you do gotta.
Yes, I do. Yes, and I also take Yes, I do take my family out, and yes, we do get together and we do those things as well, or whoever. I do take them out and I get them to understand, set up a tent area, how you set up a perimeter, what you need. I try to get them to understand that they need to designate certain people for certain things. If you got a group of 6, you got to have people to go out there and guard the perimeter. You got to have people to go get you some firewood. You got to have people to make sure that you can know where the water is and how to purify water if you need to get some water. So we have set up assignments for everybody before they go out there to the area, so that when they get there, there's no one person doing the same thing. Everybody has an assigned task and they do their task.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. We need to get some camps and some trainings put in place like that, and have you and Q show some
Very
of
much
those
so.
trainings and stuff. I think that would be. I mean, it's very needed. You know what I mean? We don't know how dependent we are upon the grid until the grid go down, whether it's naturally or they flicking a switch and playing with us. But listen, I want to go back to that clay pot with the tea lights in it. I seen that. I don't know. It looks dangerous. I mean, if you can put that in the house and it won't burn nothing up. Anybody got it?
Well, it's like, how frequently do we light candles in the house? So one candle. I also happen to be an architect and a contractor, so I have to consider a lot of little silly things. So one candle is like 1 BTU. So that's extremely low. That's an extremely low amount that you're not going to have any problems with. You light candles when you're trying to be romantic. So it's not really a big deal in the way of like a fire in the fireplace. Right, because if you have a fireplace that hasn't been cleaned, I tell people, hey, you got to make sure you get those fireplaces cleaned if you're going to be using that for your heat source. It's not giving off the same amount of carbon monoxide, right? So you can, as long as you make sure that it's on like a pan that can accept heat, you should be fine.
Okay.
It's the clay pot, because clay, you know how when you were young and you made like a clay pot in school, those kilns are like so many, probably over 500 degrees. And they can resist that much heat, so it heats up a lot hotter than anything else. Think about a skillet. When you put a sausage in a skillet, it cooks, but when you put grease under it, it cooks even more. So think about that clay pot as like the grease. So it makes it hotter than it normally would be able to take to heat up that air, right? Yeah. So it's hotter. It's like a layer that makes it hotter. And push off more heat. Now you have to have a smaller space, and you have to have good insulation. I had somebody ask me, I put this in my greenhouse and it didn't work. There's no insulation in the greenhouse. No, greenhouses are designed. I said, it's not going to work there, honey. It's not going to work. I tried to explain the concept of insulation. She wasn't getting it. So it has to be a certain environment that it'll work in, and most homes will have a sufficient area for that to happen. And if it just can't happen, you have to make an even more micro space. Maybe you have to build a tent inside your house, and go to the smallest room in your house and put blankets down on the floor so that you make it a little tighter and a little warmer. So you just got to figure out how to stay warm. That's really important.
Makes sense. One thing I was thinking about too when I was going out, you go to Menards or either Home Depot or something, they got those deck screws, they got those 4-inch nails. They only like $3 a box, $4 a box. Pick some up. You get what I'm saying? Pick them up here and there. Always pick up that little stuff like that. Wood. We don't throw away wood. Some of the people down there were saying they had to break up their furniture and put it in the fireplace in order to keep warm. So we try to get some wood going on and some things like that. So, Key, I'm going to ask you this one question. If you got a generator, a lot of them generators are kind of small, the gas generator, and they got 2 plugs on it. What 2 things are you heating up? I mean, not heating up. What 2 things are you plugging in there? I say heating up.
And you said if it's a small one?
Yeah, that little real big 4500.
Well, you're always looking at the watts to see how much electricity it can hold. I'm trying to do something as like the microwave, the computer, the phone. I always need my phone together. I mean, like I said, here in Florida, power goes out as soon as the rain or the wind blows on your house. So of course, some type of fan. Based on the size of that generator, it can also cover your deep freezer, your refrigerator. Like I said, for me, I have a big one. So I have the little one and the big one. So I'm going to get it both popping. But at the end of the day, you definitely want to look at the wattage and also the reviews. Of course, a lot of times people are novices when it comes to buying certain supplies and they don't know what they should, but the reviews are out there and they have specialists there to ask those questions. A lot of times you'll even see at those Army, RV and Navy stores and the Bass Pro Shops. They're like, hey, I took this generator on my RV and I was able to, put this with this, and I was able to charge this with this. I mean, these are just simple questions that we could just look. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go for those things that can preserve my food. And of course, like I said, since I'm here in Florida and it gets extremely hot, I'm definitely going to go ahead and find some comfort in that fan.
Okay, cool. Now since you was talking about items, I have a few items here. Orlando, you got some items. Kia, you have the items from yesterday?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. We're gonna go through some of these items. I'm gonna share two or three things and pass it on. Now, when you have the Dollar Tree is your best friend, I want to say. The Dollar Tree is just your best friend. They got almost everything that you need up in there. The camping section in Walmart is your best friend. I'm just gonna share three things and I'm gonna pass it on. I got this. This is the commando saw, right? And all you do is you put your finger around each loop. You can cut off little branches and stuff. This thing was 98 cents at Walmart. Okay, commando saw, 98 cents or 99 cents or something at Walmart. I know it wasn't $2, and I got two or three of them. And the checkout lady was making fun of me. She's like, "Why you just don't get a hand saw?" And I was like, "Well, I don't have no power, then I might need to use it." So she was looking like, "What?" And so that's one thing. All right. We was talking about making a fire, Orlando. We talked about this yesterday too. That repurposing that lint. So I got a whole bunch of this lint from the dryer. I didn't put no alcohol or nothing on it. And then this storm-proof matches. Right. Storm-proof matches stay lit no matter what. Wind resistant, waterproof. I don't know how is it wind resistant. These also was at Walmart. These mugs was like 90 cents, $1 or something like that. And so, and I also got some other wood stuff too, but you can probably start a fire, and then one more thing, and then you guys can share some things, and we got some other stuff to share. There's the space blankets, right? I ordered these online. These right here, right? With your body heat, you wrap up in these, and it's like a big, it look like a big piece of aluminum foil, but you wrap up in it, and it keeps your body heat in there, and it's very. It don't look like it's nothing, but then you wrap up in it outside or in the cold area, and this is only like, I want to say $1 a piece, but I had got maybe $2 a piece, and I got a whole bunch of these from eBay. All right, I'm going to show more stuff, but I'm going to stop talking and see does anybody else want to share some things that they got.
I could go ahead. So okay. on the show yesterday, I had a couple of items because I know we were talking about loss of heat and the power going out, but another crisis that people were facing was the water, and they had the advisory about how they had to boil their water. There was a couple of people that recorded seeing actual parasites in their water, moving around and these different things. So my mother has one. I have something similar. It's funny because my mother gave this one actually to my little one. But we all have one, but these are filters. So definitely if it all goes down, you're able to filtrate your water, because if you don't have any water and the only thing of water that you have access to is what's coming out your faucet, you definitely want to be able to filtrate that. And you have to look when this is from Patriot Supply, this actual model here. But if you are going and you're researching on those different filtrations, look to see the different ones that it has, because some things will take out the chlorine and this parasite and this, but there's so many different ones. So it's good to invest in that. Like I said, this is tax time. So for people getting them taxes right and trying to claim this and claim that, when you get that money back, definitely make sure that you are investing in those items as well. Good. Something else that I said for little kids, this is powdered milk, and this is taking it back to basics. Of course, this is just for the toddlers, but they have powdered milk for adults as well. because these are other supplements and different things that if you're needing during some type of disaster event, you should pick up. If you have to leave the house, because like I said, there were people who got flooded out and they just had to leave to warming stations, but they said, hey, I left in a rush. I didn't take anything. My kids are hungry. They have these, the peanut butters, and they're like squeezable. So if you have some bread or something, you can make some quick sandwiches or whatever for your family as well. With that being said, back to the water. I made a disclaimer. This is not for your hair. This is not for your eyelashes. This is Flex Shot. But if you see a cracked pipe in your bathroom, for instance, you see it cracking, because some people were actually live streaming, like, wait, it's cracking right here. I can see it. You're able to use these things. And these things here, like I said, is always good to use around the house for those type of items, especially if you can do some type of preparation in advance. One last thing that I wanted to mention is a lot of people were kind of saying, hey, I don't have lights or I don't have water. Or can we kind of barter? Can we kind of come over? COVID is still prevalent. And COVID, since COVID's prevalent, you don't know what the next person has. You don't know what your neighbor has or whatever. So they have these on sale on Groupon. If anybody has Groupon, the thermometers and these different things, just if you are going to invite somebody in, of course you want to use your mask and still use protection on that way. But that right there was like $4. So there's different little things that you can just kind of, especially if money is tight, kind of plug in and just have. So when it does go down, you have some things to work with.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Orlando? You got some things?
Yeah, I got things. It talks a lot about solar, and what I have right here is a USB solar battery charger.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so what this is a USB battery, so solar panel charger. Huh? Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Can y'all see it? Yeah, so what this does is also, it has a light at the end of it. It gives you a flashlight. But to charge your cell phone, it's also able to charge little small things that has a USB. And the only thing you have to do is just put it in the sunlight and it'll automatically start to charge. So when you hear, I preferably don't like to use generators. I have a wood burning stove.
I need one of those.
But the reason why I don't, because generator, like I agree with you, it creates attention. So if I needed to hear my radio or use my phone, this is what I use to charge my phone up with instead of having a generator. Also, this is what I have, right? A 72-hour candle. And this 72-hour candle, you can light it and it'll last for 72 hours. And you don't necessarily need to use it except night and not during the daytime, because you have light, you have natural sunlight. Okay, this is a 72-hour candle. But also, this is a burner. This burner right here is what we use at parties all the time to keep the food warm. But you can also use this burner to warm your food up. When you use it to purify water, the burners that we have up under the food to keep the food warm.
Yeah.
Something simple, we can use this to cook in our house or to warm up our food when we don't have any power. Instead of having to go out and spend a lot of money, that's what we can do. Also, this is a little battery charger for your cell phone. This here, this solar panel can charge this so that you can be able to use your cell phone.
Okay.
Or you.
Yep. Do you have the show playing on another computer? Because you're probably getting a delay. Say what?
And
You can make a 72-hour candle using Crisco and the candle. Oh, okay. That's why we need to network and get these things done so we can get it all on paper and stuff. He froze. You froze, Orlando. Okay, Q, do you got anything or no? Because I didn't tell you to bring
You didn't tell me to grab anything, but
I know. That's my fault. That's my fault.
I would just tell you what, kind of what I got. That's kind of similar to his. So I take an Altoid can, and I get a 5-gallon bucket of lard so I can continue making whatever I need, because you always want to use fat as what you use to make a fire. So I take a Altoid can that you can open and close, and then I put lard in it, and then I cut little cardboard strips. It's probably just as high as the Altoid can, and I put the strips of cardboard in, about maybe 4 strips right into the lard that's in the Altoid can, and you make you light it up and you make a fire. So, and then you put 2 bricks on the side of it. So you got a stove. They call it an Altoid stove. So you probably get as good of a flame as you would on your stove. So you can grill with that. You can boil your water with that, but it gives you a good fire. You don't want to do it in the house, but I also have a video on it in my group, Tubman Survival Academy. It's a private group, but I let, obviously anybody in. If you got a profile that starts in 2020, I don't let you in, because that sounds, it's like, who are you? You being tricky. So I got to make sure it's nobody trying to be tricky with a short profile. But I show people how to make that. It's a great stove, because everybody is we doing things that take too much energy. When we're doing preps, we got to think of the caloric expenditure that we're doing for those things. So you don't want to go cut down a tree and you only got a little bit of food, because you're going to need more food because you're spending too many calories. You want to spend the least calories possible. And if you're planning, you might as well plan to spend the least calories possible. So even picking up heavy wood and putting it in the fireplace, that's energy. So again, you want to use least energy as possible. So no planning in the snow.
One thing I wanted to say also is and I think because my family is prior military and I'm prior military myself, when we were in the field, we would eat MREs, and even though it's not your fancy 5-star dining, at the end of the day, we got accustomed to it when we were in the field, and that's something that is definitely something to invest in, because you can buy MREs at the Army and Navy store, and those things last for years. I mean, it's funny because you open it up and you'll get like this pound cake, or trying to make it all fluffy. But at the end of the day, these are things that you're able to utilize for those quick meals, and they're able to just grab them and take anywhere. Like I said, there's so many little things that we can do while shopping. I know that on the show yesterday, I was showing this right here. So a lot of times we'll get our canned beans and we'll just go from there, but we need to take it back to the basics. These things right here cost $1.09 in Walmart. And how about we start using you mentioned using those beans and these different things, and being able to plant them, being able to cook them, and just having these different foods. And this stuff is cheap. If we go back to basics and not put a lot of thought into it, we can definitely be able to prepare for any type of thing that's coming our way.
Man, that's awesome. I'm gonna show 2 more things too, and that with the stuff that you guys showed me, I think it'll be easier to do than this stuff. Like I got this little flashlight, but it's one of them shake ones, just in case I run out of if I run out of. It's not bright, but I turn off all of the lights and it's different. It's decent. I'm going the wrong way with it. So you shake it up, you know what I mean? If you don't have no batteries, you can still get the light. Also,
you can put a gallon. You can put a gallon over that too and make it even brighter.
Gallon.
Like an empty water bottle, like the gallon water bottles, and it like creates something that makes it bigger and brighter.
Oh, cool. Then I got this weather radio too, man. I went over the top,
Gotta have that.
And it got a solar panel on it, and then it's a crank on the side.
Yeah, you gotta have that one.
It's a crank on the side. It was about $50, and so I'll be able to communicate with people if the grid go down for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, and I can at least hear something. You know what I mean? And so I just think about that little stuff. We don't want to, overload nobody, but I say, it's better to have need it and not have it it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
One quick thing real quick. When you mentioned the grid going down, it's very, very important to always have cash on hand. There were some stories about supermarkets. People were shopping, pre-planning for this event that's happening, and the power goes out while they're in the store. Well, guess what? It was a cash-only system at that time. So always being able to have some type of currency on hand, because if we're dependent upon electricity and that power goes out, there's no way to charge that ATM card. There's no way to say, well, I had $500 in my account. I don't know if you're lying or whatever. So always make sure you have some type of money to barter with.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And it would be more of a trip if we went all electronic, all Bitcoin or all electric currency, and they're like, all right, we're not doing no more cash, we're not doing no more coin shortage and all that stuff. Then if something go down, then then you have to go back to bartering and trusting in people and all that. That's why I think going back to community, I think we need to build a community early, get people on board early. Now, some people are going to always say, but some people sat and they watch what happened to 14 million people in Texas, and so now it's raising the eyebrow now. So more people are saying, "Oh, wait a minute, I need to see what's going on with that." And a few more things I'm gonna share. Then we gonna call it quits. You was talking about. I try to get. This is one of my cans from 2022, but I try to get one with the lids on it just in case I don't have my can opener. We did get extra.
Those are just a little bit open though. They're not as airtight as the ones that require a can opener. So okay. I mean, they last, but just know it's the reason that it peels off easy. It has to be perforated for it to be able to peel around there.
Oh, cool beans. I would definitely do that. I got can openers. I guess it's a
couple can openers should be part of the kit.
But like I said, taking it back to basics. If you do not have a can opener, growing up in the hood, can openers were a luxury. So you might need to get that knife out and get the busting with that hammer, because I'm gonna make that can open. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, can openers are definitely a luxury, but to have a good sturdy knife is always very, really good.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of. My other knife is gone. I got to get a new knife.
Yeah, a knife should be if any survivalist will tell you that a knife is the most important thing. If you don't spend money on nothing else, get you a good knife.
A big Rambo.
You should be able to survive with just a knife.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Not the self-sharpening knife, but a real nice quality sturdy knife, right?
A serious baby.
And here's the thing though. I mean, of course, while prepping, you're looking at the levels of how endangered we are. With that being said, we do have some source of government that will aid to a degree, when the things are going down. They're slow on it. People have been hurt, people have died. So we're not at the point where we're completely just assed out. The whole zombie apocalypse done took effect. There's no more type of system anywhere. But at the end of the day, if you just get the simple basic things, you will be and when you're getting these simple basic things, make sure that you can use them for multiple things. Not just, I can only use this just for this one item and then it's just, dead weight. Being able to use things for multiple things is definitely a necessity.
Wow. And that's another thing too. Went to the Dollar Tree and got all of the gauze, not all of the gauzes, because I would have been spending a lot of money, but I got to the cash register and it was like $45. But I got gauzes, bandages, stuff to wrap yourself up with, just a whole bunch of stuff. The quality, of course, is not Band-Aid brand quality, but it'll get you through. You know what I mean? It's a fresh gauze. I've actually seen
You
it.
ain't got no friends that work at the hospital. Everybody got some friends that work at the
I'm
hospital.
telling you, you better preach one time.
You better get a hospital friend. Somebody that work at a dentist
Get
office.
yourself a first aid kit, the handy one.
Yeah. The Purade, yeah, absolutely. And I seen another kid that does stitches, and it was on, it was like only $20. You know what I mean? And when my son hurt his hand, I was sitting there and I was like, oh, that don't look that hard. You know what I mean? Because the lady was sewing him up because he hurt his hand. And I was like, okay. But see, I'm going to grab one of them kits too. You know what I mean? And university is the best thing right now because, we could just learn different things. And like you said, if you assign different people in your community or family, different things, okay, we need you to go.
Bar the talent.
Yeah, we need you to go learn about this. We need you to go learn about that. We get you the resources, you learn about it. You know what I mean? And perimeters and all that stuff that we're talking about. You got to just let people know about it. I think the best thing to do is to be at home. I think. Well, I can't.
Everybody wants to start off at home. Nobody wants to start off in the woods. That's nobody's plan to start off in the woods. You leave at home. If you leave home, it's because you absolutely positively have to. Even though Orlando goes to the woods to learn, his primary goal is to stay at home. Everybody's primary goal is to stay at home. So don't think just because we learn survivalism, we want to be out in the woods trying to survive. We here first. We home first.
Wow, he clicked on. I don't know what happened to his internet, but yeah, absolutely. Now, keeping that bug out bag current, keeping it together, and the essentials in there, and having something in the car too, because it's scenarios like I talked about in the last show. You don't know. I got a bug out bag. It's in the garage. It's ready to go. And there's something happening away from the scene. And y'all together and y'all in the car, but you ain't got no bug out bag in the car. So, just keeping multiple little bug out bags and different things like that to be prepared. I think that's very, very interesting. And okay, so this was a good chop up. If anybody got any, Tasha said, "What do you need?" You work in the hospital? I know you worked in the hospital. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
the key, I think the key to prepping, and any prepper you ever speak with, you have to be resourceful. You have to be able to be resourceful and be able to think fast and all different types of situations. And networking is key. And this is on a professional level. Let's just say everything is sunny, peachy cream, life is great, there's no COVID. Knowing who's who and what they do and how they're able to help you in certain situations. So you have your people that are in the hospital, and even if they're not in the hospital no more, they're in the medical field. But then you have people who are in law enforcement, because you need the inside scoops when they say, "Hey, don't go to this area." I'm very happy. My son, he just graduated as an MP in the military. So I'm like, okay, well, put me on. What's going on? Have somebody on the inside. And then over here, when it's like, hey, we need you to for kids, and what's going on with the child care, just all the different things that's beneficial to you. And if people have pets, a lot of times we forget about them too. Who's here, who could take care of animals. Just know who your people are. So when the time comes, you'll know which resource to pull out. Because like I said, what's happening in one area may not happen in another. So you have to be able to be resourceful and network.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely need to come up in that. Not that I'm a hermit on an island, but I definitely need to come up with different Go ahead.
I was just gonna say preppers will help a prepper because it's like it's something in your mind that says they've been making an effort because you know it's hard when you've been telling your cousin for years to do this and they ain't listen to shit, but they just came back from Jamaica and they want some water. But the prepper is like, you know what I need for this, what you like, if kid come up here, she got a place, you know what I'm saying?
Girl, I got
she makes an effort. It's a difference when somebody makes an effort, you show up for them a little different because you know they got some brain. Like, why would I let you on my team and your ass don't even want to chop wood? My auntie was like, well, I'm just gonna wait till the kids get back. Well, you can't come with me because you already telling me you don't want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So you want to add, it's like, well, I want somebody that multiplies me, not somebody that divides me.
My mother raised me and she always taught me the first law of preservation is self. And once you have that ideology in your head, then you're able to say, you know what, I got to take care of my needs. And by you taking care of your needs, that will end up having a domino effect to your family. Because of course, if you're taking care of what you need to take care of, then the next person and everything. But then you have to look at that bubble and you really have to assess what are you bringing to the table. That is so true. Before COVID, and we talked about it last show, before COVID took place, I was letting so many people know what was going on about, hey, get your mask. I don't care if you borrow, not borrowing, but, asking somebody that, hey, you got these masks and you got this and get your water and prep, because I knew it was going down. It ain't going to happen. Stop saying what won't happen because it is happening. So you definitely have to assess your circle. That is so, so important.
Man.
And then you have people who question everything that you say and do. I'm telling you to move now. And you're like, what? Wait, I don't want to. I don't got time for that. I don't. You're not catching me in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that was the problem too when Hurricane Katrina first hit, and I met some people, and some people are like, oh, I want to leave and I can't because I don't have the transportation and I don't have this. And some people was like, I can't leave, but it ain't that serious. And then when it hit, it was like, oh, this thing is serious. People on roofs, and the outcome of that, it was just people still display, got trauma, mental issues because of that. I was just like, wow. So, if you can, be wise and do what you got to do.
There was a lot of people that died in Katrina because they didn't know how to process water.
Mm-hmm.
And you can stay if you know how to function. I wouldn't have stayed, but I'm just saying to die because you don't know how to process water, that's deep. They should be teaching that in school almost.
They should be teaching a lot of this stuff in school instead of Pragum theorem or hypotenuse.
Yeah, I ain't never used that. I'm an architect. I ain't never used Pythagorean theorem, whatever it is, ever.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, just from the accident. I guess he don't want to. He just like every time I'm about to ask something, my brother click out. Oh man. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting that you said that. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to have a plan. Maybe right now, what people from Texas, if they're watching the show or whatever, if they're talking to their family members, kind of have a debrief of what went right and what went wrong, and then plan from there. And when you have that debrief, and then also what everybody needs to do is include the kids, include them in your plans, and teach them, hey, if we get separated, this is the meeting spot. There was one thing that I'm going to actually start doing. I just seen it. Teaching your kids at a young age on how to dial 911 is so important. And what the woman did was have the little styrofoam paper plates, but had the numbers lined up, and they had to keep training their child. You hit 9, you hit 1, you hit, just those little things make a world of difference. So everybody has a code word. My family has a code word. I use it as code 19. If I say code 19 to my family, they know to don't ask no questions. You pick your up and you done. Like, I don't care where you are. You could be in school. You could be there. If you get that code from me,
that's a good idea.
Wow.
Okay, you know how to teach us. Where are you going? they'll have to answer to me later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
but you
That's
have
good.
to be able to have those meeting places and just get everybody involved, because as much as we love our family and we want to bring everybody along, it is what it is.
That's not funny, but it is funny, but it not. I don't know. Every time maybe I'm just an eighth grader, man. That just trips me out every time. Sorry, Big Mama, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't
I mean, we
funny.
love Big Mama,
hope
but how many times Big Mama had a chance? Like, come on, Big Mama, we got to do what's right, Big Mama. Like, it's 2021. The lifestyle that we was living back in the day, maybe we could have passed it, but there's no excuse now. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
It's a lot of people starting to get it though. The more we talk about it, the more people realize it, because they have to hear it over and over. So don't feel like you're wasting your time telling anybody, because when people hear it over and over and over, it's like, because I start to get people I've told 10 months ago, and now they're on the meeting today, you know, and it's like that'll keep happening because they keep hearing it. So if we keep doing our job, if we keep being vessels, you know what I'm saying? It'll keep, you know, the message will keep getting there.
There's a book that I would recommend. I want to say the book at Barnes and Noble now is about maybe $7 or $8. It's on the bargain section, and it's called When Shit Hits the Fan. And it's literally, it has like an asteroid hitting the planet Earth, but there's literally step by step on what to do in case of emergency. So a tidal wave, you're stuck in a landslide, you know, a mudslide, the asteroid's coming, the earthquake, the this, and it's literally just like, hey, grab this, have this, because of course, you know, if you're fighting for your life in some type of water, you need a life jacket and this. You wouldn't need, you know, some coats, you know, so preparing you for each situation based on what we got going on. So once again, you have to be able to sit down and get that pen and paper and properly prepare. One thing my husband had mentioned yesterday to me is, if you buy this equipment, if you have these things, check the stuff out to see if it works, because you can have stuff sitting there for a minute and then you forgot that, you know, you needed those batteries or whatever, or something's not working anymore. So you have to switch things out as well.
Wow, that's a good point. Orlando, you meditating, brother? You pray? You good, man? Seems like you asleep, man. This conversation boring to you. I'm just playing, man. I'm being good.
It's freezing.
You all right?
It's freezing.
Don't mean mug me, Orlando. All right, I'm gonna quit playing, man. I'm gonna get serious, man. Okay. Any last things before we close out? I thank y'all for y'all work. I thank y'all for y'all diligence and the things y'all doing. And guess what? More people are going to, you know, whether you actually was affected by what happened down there with 14 million plus, or whether you was watched it on TV, because I watched it on TV from the comforts of my home. Was like, oh, you know, but I was a prepper already anyway, a medium prepper. So I was just like, oh man. So more people are going to start coming to your meetings. More people are going to start coming to your Mother Unfiltered channel and listening and trying to see what's going on, because people want to know. They want to be informed. They want to know. What about the ham radio? That's my last point, and then we can close out, and then y'all can share one or two more things, and we can close out. The ham radio. Somebody told me it was illegal, so I didn't get it. A ham radio.
It's two different types. It's two different types. Both of them not illegal. I started a Facebook group called Black Ham Radio Operators, and it's a guy that's amazing, Jeffrey Booker, that's on there. He has an Instagram, I can't think of it, but he basically walks people through the whole process of, like, I think this guy knows everything about ham radios. So when you join, he'll let you got to answer the question, because it's questions that only Black people know. He's a real stickler about knowing the questions to make sure people Black. He like, no, he's serious about that. So you better answer them questions that's in there, that's on the entry. But he'll help walk you through the process of ham radio, because sometimes the antenna stuff gets a little confusing. It's a lot of pieces that get real confusing, and he'll answer those questions. So he's checking it all the time.
Awesome. Oh, okay. Orlando, you got it?
Black Ham. It's called Black Ham Radio Operators.
Oh, he left again.
I'm gonna write that down.
Black Ham Radio Operators. Oh,
And like he'll get your call signs, and he'll like if you need somebody
on YouTube?
to HF.
Is that on YouTube?
No,
Black
it's a Facebook group.
Oh, Facebook group.
We talk and learn. You know what I'm saying? So like if you say, hey, I need to talk to somebody on the HF, blah blah blah, and he'll help you out with stuff.
Okay, I'm just going to see what the questions are. I don't understand that.
I guess he's referring to the fact that you said that they do a check to see if you're really black. So they ask questions that only black people would know.
Yeah. Right.
Like, did Tommy really have a job on the Martin show? Those are those good questions.
Give me a line from Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Yeah. Asking you about an LL Cool J song, like what LL need?
He needs love.
Oh man, that's crazy. Okay. Well, thank you guys again. Man, we got to continue to build and chop up. I did put y'all stuff in the chat, but it's a long, crazy.
I could plug it in for thank you so much, guys. Tune in every Sunday. We go live. Mothers Unfiltered at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. These next 2 weeks, though, I'm going to be revamping the show, so I won't be on air. But after that, it's going to be bigger and better. And the premise of the show is just to give information back to our community on all levels. Anything that we can help. We talk about every topic under the sun, from sex to politics to having a happy marriage, all the way to prepping. So once again, it's Mothers Unfiltered on YouTube. So like and subscribe, and thank you once again for having me, being a guest on your show.
Awesome. What about you, Q?
Well,
Tubman Survival Academy.
Yeah, we have a Facebook group called Tubman Survival Academy. Every couple of weeks we have a Zoom meeting where we somebody presents the topic on survival, and then we just talk stuff out. You may have questions about something. People will throw in tips because they start to research because they've heard about something. So it's an information base in which we can share, and then we connect people who are in the same area. Sometimes you may find somebody from your city that's there that can help you or barter with you. But if you get on Tubman Survival Academy, you'll be able to see the when we have those meetings and the videos that we put up too.
Awesome. I gotta get the pass.
It's a great online community of folks.
Awesome, man. That's what I'm talking about. Everybody's in Florida, the DMV, Atlanta. Who's in the Chicago area?
I'm in DMV. I'm in DC.
You in DMV?
Yes.
I thought you was in Buffalo.
No, she in Washington, that DMV area.
Right.
I'm in DC. I was sitting right here with my AR when they had the insurrection. Like, oh, y'all just in case y'all think y'all want to come to Northeast, come through. Come through.
No, that's right.
Y'all ain't the only ones with ARs. Y'all thought it was illegal for us. It's not illegal for us. It's just illegal.
She got hype.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we need. We need pods or resources or whatever, and different things like that, and connected with preppers or whatever in Northwest Indiana, Chicagoland area, which is where I'm at, and then people from all over. Brother Orlando's in Atlanta, kids in Florida, you're in the DMV, people all over, all over. So, any last comments before we get out of here? I don't know. Orlando popped back on, but he popped back off, so I gotta call him after this. I'm sorry, my brother.
My last comment is just to say, try to start thinking that the abnormal is now the norm. Don't be in the mindset that, hey, everything is good and you're living this, life like, nothing has happened. Every month, literally, something is happening. It's a continuation from 2020, and this is just the beginning. Do not go into life thinking like we could just act normal in your normalcy. It's not that way anymore. And if you don't change that mindset, you will be a statistic. You will be on the news. People will be talking about you on different, social media platforms, and you don't want to be that way. We have an opportunity, especially if you want to get religious and say, hey, this is an eye opener from God. I mean, there's so many ways you could look at it. Not everybody's religious, as some people are. But this is an opportunity for everybody to say, you know what? This took place. My brothers and sisters, my neighbors, they're suffering, and be that person, that light that happens to give guidance to others. Because at the end of the day, once it goes down, it goes down.
That's good. Thank you for that. Q, you got any last minute?
Nope. I mean, I can't do anything but reiterate what Kia is saying. Statistics is important. We keep seeing something happen every month. Like, just have the knowledge and the wherewithal and the mindset. The most important thing to survival is the mindset. If you already feel like you're gonna die and you don't know what to do, imagine that space where you don't know what to do. So have a plan, do some training, take some time and put some effort forth, just like you do everything else, So, go. That's why I call it the Tubman Survival Academy, because Harriet Tubman knew how to do all of that. She was like, people were like, oh, she was just following North Star. No, she wasn't.
Oh, she wasn't.
Point A to point B with just the North Star. Like, you got to have some talent to navigate the woods at night.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got to put a little effort forth and do our due diligence and get ancestral on them.
All right.
No, that's right.
Elephant Man Podcast Network, Grown Man Conversation, dealing with elephants in the room. We thank y'all. Like, subscribe, share, and we thank y'all. We see y'all next time.
Thank you for having us.
Bye, guys.
Perfect.